Our guest today is Ken Burningham, also known as Hiker Ken, probably best known in the Harrison Agassiz area as Hiker Ken. Ken, can you give us a bit of the history, the background on the Hermann's Hiking Club?
Yeah, Hermann's Hiking Club started with a guy called Hermann Stolting. Uh, he was hiking with another group, and my friend Roberta and I also hiked with that group, which was the group that started it all off here in Harrison Agassiz. And Herman got to the age where, 80 years old, he was finding it a bit tough to do the mountains and to do all the other hikes. So Roberta and I said, well, Herman, if you can't hike the mountains, you can still hike lower down. We'll hike with you. So it started off with just three of us, Herman, Roberta, and myself. And we started hiking, and we had a lot of fun. And of course, Herman had been hiking here for, I don't know, 10, 15 years. And he knew this area like the back of his hand. And so consequently, we said, Herman, you call the hikes. And so that's what happened. He called the hikes, we all went together. And from that little small nucleus of three people, it grew and it grew and it grew. And now we have at least on the mailing list about 250 people from all over the lower mainland who at some time have either hiked with us or have wanted to know what we do and how we do it, etc., etc. We're not a club in as such. We only have one real big meeting in a year when we hand out the awards. The awards are, who did the most kilometers, who did the most gain in the elevation, and so on and so forth. And that's the only thing we really do. The rest of it is based on the internet, the website, not the website, the Facebook site, and so consequently, and also the email list. So that's the way we communicate.
What are some of the areas? Can you touch on maybe not the whole list, but some of the key areas you hike in the Fraser Valley, for example?
Sure. Well, of course, immediately close to us, we've got Agassiz Harrison, and this is a great area to hike in. We have Bear Mountain, we have Agassiz Mountain, Woodside, we have Slollicum Mountain on the side of the lake, and of course then we have the lakes like Weaver Lake, Deer Lake, Hicks Lake. They're great places to hike. Also like Harrison Mills, a wonderful place to hike. Then when we go further out, we obviously hike Manning Park, Fraser Canyon. Hope is a great place to hike as well. Then we go all the way the other way. We go to Mission, we go to Abbotsford, we go to Sumas Mountain. Then we actually go into Surrey, to the parks in Surrey, like Campbell Valley Park, Aldergrove Park, great places to hike, particularly in the wintertime. And then we also do hikes in Vancouver, because the hike on the seawall is the most fantastic place to go, weather permitting. And we do that usually once a year.
Is that where you take the West Coast Express in?
Correct. We leave here at 6 o'clock in the morning. We get to Mission, rushing around. We catch the first train, which is just after 7. We get the special fare because most of us are seniors, so we get what they call the as a seniors fare. Then we get off at Waterfront Station, go past the Pan Pacific, and across through Cole Harbour and around the. We end up in Granville Island after we've done the seawall. Science Museum. We usually stop for a beer in downtown Vancouver somewhere, catch the train, and we're home at 6 o'clock in the evening. So it's a 6 to 6 hike. Wonderful.
Now, one of the hikes that you go on is the Chilliwack Lake area, and a lot of people, I think, would be amazed to find the number of people who have lived in this area for many years and have never even actually seen Chilliwack Lake or many of the lakes you've mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a 40-kilometer, 600-meter elevation drive out of Chilliwack to get to the lake. There's a small community who live there year-round. One really fantastic hike is to Lindeman Lake. You cannot beat the scenery and the color of the water. We also go further to Green Drop. That's before you even get into Chilliwack Lake. Then, if you drive down the lake, which is a reasonable drive, you get to the eco-forest at the other end of the lake. If you go across the Chilliwack River, I think it's called the Radium Trail. But another hike that a lot of people don't know about is the hike up the side of the river. So we usually, after we've done Lindeman Lake, we backtrack a little bit down the road, we drop down to the Chilliwack River, and that is the most awesome river to see. And it comes out at the campsite.
Now, in the so-called off-season, if you will, in the wintertime, you hike elsewhere, much further south.
Yeah, for my sins, I decided to become a snowbird. And about 6 years ago, this would be my 7th season, I drove down to the Baja. And as soon as I saw the countryside, the mountains, the beaches, the water, the color of the water, everything about it down there, I said, this is the most beautiful area to go. But I didn't know at the time that we could be hiking there. So what I did, I reconnoitered around, found that we could get into the mountains, and started to send out emails on the local Facebook sites. And it got bigger and bigger. Now there's about 150 of us down there. I think I have the record down there of the maximum number of hikers per hike. And I think one day I tried to lead 39 people through the mountains. Let me tell you, that was mission impossible.
Yeah.
You can't lead 39 people. But, we had a great day.
Yeah.
And we base our hiking on the same philosophy or same format. We go out for a hike, we social a lot, and when we finish the hike, we go and find somewhere to drink a coffee or to have a great time and talk about the hike and whatever. And that seems to be a formula that everybody appreciates.
Now, one thing, too, on the Facebook page, you can see lots of the photos of these fascinating hikes.
Yeah. I've got Kenneth Burningham is my Ken Burningham is my own Facebook site that I publish a lot. But Hermann's Hikers, I've got their own Facebook page, and we do all the hike reports, which is another thing a lot of people appreciate, is that after we've hiked, I usually write a story. And the story usually starts off about the area, the history of the area, what it's like, and then it rambles on to the what happened on the hike, if anything did happen, but normally it doesn't. And then we finish it off with a general comment about how much enjoyment it was.
So you mentioned the Facebook page. Is that the best way that someone could get in touch with you then if they want to become a part of Hermann's Hikers?
Yes, if you go to Hermann's Hikers and go to About on the Facebook page, you'll see my phone number. Okay. And just call me. Generally speaking, I can't phone everybody to tell them where the hike is. You have to be on our email or you have to be on our list. If you're on our list, you'll not have a problem. And we publish each week. We say where it's going to be, and so on and so forth. And that usually works out pretty good.
All right. Thank you, Ken.
You're welcome.